Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy Ace Academy. In this video, we will be talking about a very important geopolitical event, that is the conflict in the Nagorno-Karabakh region, and how will this conflict impact the India's future diplomatic policies. So we'll be talking about the geography of these two important countries, that is Armenia and the Azerbaijan, and we will also be talking about what is the source of the conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and how is this linked to the disintegration of USSR in the year 1991, and what happened after 1991, and how is India maintaining its contacts, its diplomatic relationships with both these countries, that is Armenia and the Azerbaijan, and what is the way forward both for India and also to solve the conflicts between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So this will be the content of this particular video. So before we continue, I want you to remind that subscribe to Legacy Ace Academy and also hit the bell icon so that you will not miss out on any updates from Legacy IS. So let's start. What is the context? Why is this Nagorno-Karabakh region is in news recently? If you look at this, what happened in the last month, that is around September, the mid-September, what happened was Azerbaijan fired few missiles and blasted the Armenian posts in the Nagorno-Karabakh region and claimed that the entire Nagorno-Karabakh region belongs to Azerbaijan. So on September 19th, Azerbaijan launched an offensive attack and declared that the entire Nagorno-Karabakh region, which was considered to be a disputed area, now belongs to Azerbaijan. Okay, so that is the reason why this particular Nagorno-Karabakh region between Armenia and Azerbaijan is considered to be the area of frozen conflict, which means this has not been solved from the last 30 years. Think about 1993, first war between Armenia and Azerbaijan broke out in the year 1993, and now we are in 2023. It's been almost 30 years since the conflict has not been solved. See, when compared to India-Pakistan conflict, this conflict is very much recent, because the India-Pakistan conflict dates back to 1947, 76 years or 77 years post. But this conflict is a very recent one, 30 years down the line. But that is the reason why it is called as the region of frozen conflict. So, if we talk about the geography of Nagorno-Karabakh region and where is this actually? See, everything boils down to geography for this particular conflict. See, with respect to India-Pakistan, it was not geography because it was religion. The partition of India-Pakistan happened based on the religion. So that was the base for the conflict. But here it is pure ethnicity or geography that is responsible. If you look at this area, which is enclosed, okay, and this area is called as the core of the Nagorno-Karabakh region. Towards the left side or towards the western side, we have Armenia. Towards the eastern side, we have a country called Azerbaijan. Now you might ask, see, this is a geographical territory present inside the country of Azerbaijan. So this belongs to Azerbaijan. This is just like Karnataka is a state which is inside India. So Karnataka belongs to India. Simple as that. But it is not as simple as it sounds. What happened between Azerbaijan and this province of the Nagorno-Karabakh region was, this conflict or this geographical province of Nagorno-Karabakh region has the majority people who are Armenians. The majority Armenian population belonging to Armenian ethnicity residing in an area belonging to Azerbaijan, that was the conflict. And they claim that we want to be independent or we want to be a part of Armenia. But Azerbaijan, getting support from Iran, getting support from Pakistan, weapons and also the cutting edge technology, is launching attacks on the Nagorno-Karabakh region because they don't want to give the Nagorno-Karabakh region the independence that it is demanding. See, that is the reason why I told you, for this entire conflict, if we look at, okay, the core is geography. Clear? Now, if you look at, when did this particular conflict actually start? What is the history of this particular geographical conflict if you look at? See, everything boils down to 1991. See, why is 1991 so important in the entire world history? Correct? Two important events that happened in the entire world, and both these events changed the nature of the Indian growth going forward. First one was the new economic reforms. Okay, we call it as LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, and the globalization reforms that came up with, and India became more open to the entire world's economy that is responsible for the India's growth as of now. And we claim India to be the fastest growing economy in the world. How did that happen? That happened because of this particular event. And one more important thing that happened in the year 1991 was the disintegration of USSR. Disintegration of USSR. From 1917, the Russian Revolution, if you remember, from 1917 to 1991, USSR dominated the world politics. That's a different story. That we also had Cold War from 1945 to 1991, where we had the power bloc, that is USA on one side, USSR on the other side. This is a different story. But 1917 to 1991, USSR dominated the world politics. But in the year 1991, USSR disintegrated for multiple reasons. And after this disintegration of the USSR, we have 14 to 16 different countries being formed, which are called as the Balkan countries. And the two important countries that were formed was Armenia and Azerbaijan. Okay, which means Armenia and Azerbaijan before 1991 were a part of United States of Soviet Russia. So after 1991, they got independence and they were declared as independent countries or sovereign countries, and the conflict started. Okay, so this is why from 1991 is the source of this particular conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Following this, after when they became independent, after when they became sovereign countries, then look at Armenians are Christians, okay, whereas the Azerbaijan are Muslims. Okay, so coupled with geography, they also have the problem of ethnicity, they also have the problem of culture and also the religion. Okay, so now the conclave is connected to the Armenian border through a very small 5-kilometer corridor called as Lachin corridor. Okay, so this was also in news. Remember the term Lachin corridor was in news because of the Armenia and Azerbaijan conflict. Now, what is the history of this geography? See, we have talked about the history. I've told you the 1971, from 1971, so 1917, the Russian Revolution, till 1991, the Russia dominated. After 1991, disintegration of Russia, we have the both countries being formed, Armenia and Azerbaijan. Okay, Armenia and Azerbaijan. The Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast was formed, which means Nagorno-Karabakh region was given its independence, and because they wanted to join Armenia, because they have the majority Christians and they ethnically belong to Armenia. Okay, so this was the history. Now, if we look at what happened post 1991, after the formation of the sovereign socialist countries of Armenia and Azerbaijan, what happened later? Post 1991, the war erupted between Armenia and Azerbaijan in the year 1993. So why the war erupted? War erupted because of the geography. Who takes control of the Nagorno-Karabakh region? That was a disputed area. And this war in the year 1993 was mediated by Russia again, and they signed a protocol called as Bishkek Protocol in the year 1994. From 1994 till 2018, the conflict was dormant, which means there is no war, there is no dispute because they have signed Bishkek Protocol. But in the year 2018, in the year 2018, Azerbaijan wanted to have control over Armenia and the conflict started. And Azerbaijan, taking support from Iran, taking support from Pakistan, started launching military attacks on the Azerbaijan and they wanted to control it. And recently, the Azerbaijan blocked this Lachin corridor, which is a connecting line between Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh region, and this escalated the matter between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Now, what does India have to say with respect to all these? Where do we stand? What is our stand? See, India firmly believes, irrespective of where this particular issue is happening, irrespective of any world dispute, India believes that diplomacy, negotiation, and mutual understanding is the only solution for the solving disputes. That's what India says here. It is only possible through diplomatic negotiations. India strongly believes in the diplomatic negotiations. But this is on the one side. But what's happening between the India's relationship with both Armenia and Azerbaijan? If you look at Indian settlers in the Armenia, Indian settlers in the Armenia were as before 149 BC, which means India and Armenia share a historic ancient relationship. Okay, India and Armenia share a historic ancient relationship. In contrast, that is not the case. That is not the case with respect to Azerbaijan. While the Emperor Akbar married a queen, princess, an Armenian wife. He had an Armenian wife, which means in the ancient history, in the medieval history, India's connection with the Armenia is stagnant. Okay, it is growing. But with respect to Azerbaijan, in contrast, historical connection between India and Azerbaijan is a very recent origin which will date back to 18th century. Okay, it will date back to 18th century, but India's connection with Armenia dates back to ancient history. Along with this, two more examples to prove that the India is more connected and more having a more diplomatic relationship with Armenia and not Azerbaijan. India inked a defense deal with the Armenian armed forces for Pinaka missiles. India will be supplying the Pinaka missiles to Armenia, and Armenia will use these missiles to protect their Nagorno-Karabakh region from Azerbaijan. Okay. In contrast, Azerbaijan's proximity with Pakistan and Iran. See, with Iran we don't have an issue. Azerbaijan's proximity with respect to Pakistan is something that is pushing India towards Armenia. Azerbaijan and Pakistan are forming an alliance. India and Armenia are forming a alliance. So this is how. See, India nowhere has publicly spoken that India is supporting Armenia in defending its territory. No, India always says that it's only through the mutual discussion and mutual negotiation that the disputes will come to a solution. So, in the larger point of view, if you look at how is it impacting the international north-south corridor? If you look at the international north-south corridor map, it passes through Armenia and Azerbaijan. Okay, so this is a very disputed and a key chain link for India international north-south transport corridor, which India considered to be as a rival against Belt and Road Initiative of China. So, if India wants to reap the benefits of international north-south transport corridor, that is INSTC, then maintaining peace in this particular region of Armenia and Azerbaijan is very much crucial for us. Okay, this is what we are planning to do. So that's it with respect to the Armenia and Azerbaijan conflict of the Nagorno-Karabakh region. If you have liked the video, hit the like button and press the subscribe button so to get all the latest notifications from the Legacy IAS Academy. Have a nice day. Thank you.